3, 2, 1.
Wow. Look at you, camera, film, Hollywood camera.
Yeah, I had a long career in Hollywood before I started doing, games journalism for free.
Hello. We're
Hello.
back. We're back after a very long day.
Possibly the longest day to ever exist, I think.
If we feel or sound dead, please forgive us. It's like it's a long day, just a really, really long day, but a good one, a really good one. First day, it's kind of hectic because you're getting your bearings, you're getting familiar with the layout. You're just really getting to understand what you're dealing with, and that's what we did today.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we also immediately forgot something. So we had to go, we did our first appointment, and then we had to go run back to the hotel, get the thing we forgot, come back, and then we were good to go. But on the whole, it was a really good day. And any wrap up on the full day one PAX West VGG? What's your hot take? As we were talking with Dave from Mighty Hot Takes.
Hot take, video games are good.
Whoa, dude.
Game devs are pretty cool as
Yeah.
well. They're up there for sure.
Video games are good. The people that make them, better. Just saying. Take that, video games. Hot take.
No, it was a really good day. I think, we scouted a lot. Like we went around the whole floor. We learned about different parts of the building that we've never been in that were cool, that will be nice for little
Lunches
breaks and stuff too.
Yeah, today was a great learning day.
Yeah.
Learning
a bit more about the tech upgrades as well, how to get those,
get the most out of that.
Yeah. We had some struggles, just how the mics, how everyone's holding it, how far away from people you need to be, just all that sort of good stuff.
For the most part, everything's good. I think, we didn't have any issues there. I don't think we lost anything.
Mm-hmm.
One's going to be a little hard, but we'll make it work. But yeah, really good day. We had, 5, 6 appointments? I think
6
I think, yeah, 5
appointments.
this is 2 different appointments in 1 hour.
Yeah.
For the most part, those all went really smooth. One, we'll get to it. We were not able to get the interview that we expected. I think that's mainly because the person we were going to meet with literally had another event
was
happening in a couple hours.
Running another event.
So makes sense.
Yeah. They had vacated from the show floor, and that's fine.
We're hoping to hook back up before the end of the week. But yeah, let's start our wrap up of the day. Kind of, again, the way we want to do these is kind of like our not E3 Summer Game Fest videos, where we kind of go just what's the things that caught our eye and what's the things we did, and just give you quick hits on everything. Talk about learning lessons too. Another thing we learned, you'll notice the mics are facing each other, because last night when we did our day 0 vlog, we had the mics here, and we would turn away and talk to each other, and then the mic is over here and we're barely audible. So learning.
You live and you learn.
Yeah.
We have a left-hander and a right-hander. And
I know.
We had to be flexible,
That's
what it's all about.
It's about compromise. Yeah, so first thing was media hour. Left the hotel 8:50. Got there a little after the beginning of media hour. Fine.
9:05.
And again, we were kind of not totally sure what we wanted to do. And then we said, you know what, let's go do this thing that was really exciting for us right out the gate. And how nice was that for us to do? We went and saw a game called Feltopia. Hopefully I can do movie magic. It's hard. So here, before we really get into it, I'm editing all of these on my phone, right? So it's kind of hard to like do the kinds of things I would do at home, which would be like layering video and all that stuff. But hopefully I've learned today and I can make that happen. But photo and video. We went to Feltopia, which is a really, really cute felt-driven shoot 'em up, felted shoot 'em up. And by that we mean, you know, similar to the game Harold Halibut, which was all handcrafted props and claymation. This is a similar thing, but it was felt. It's all handcrafted, hand felted, if you will, and then stop motion animated assets. And it's a shoot 'em up where you're just this cute little like wizard? I think.
Wizard riding a unicorn.
Yeah. And you are gathering your flock of sheep. They've been corrupted by some evil force, and other things are being corrupted by that force, and you're going through and making sure to save them and get out of town, get out of the danger and fix the world and heal the world. Transformative is the word they use. It's not destruction, it's transformative. And wow, what a way to start. It was really cool because, you know, we got to start there, and you know, we know it's their first game. This is their first event they've done. It's their first demo. This first time people are playing this game. Like, you know, it's just they were really eager, really excited, and that energy was just like what we needed to start it off, I think.
Yeah.
And the demo is kind of a little chunk of like 4 or 5 different levels, I think was what they were saying. Just quick hits. You're just a little guy on a unicorn, and you shoot out like a healing beam, basically, and you're gathering up your flock. And so the flock is kind of the key part of this, the sheep that follow you. There's like, up to like 5, I think you get by the end of the game. Like each kind of chunk seemed like had a sheep attached to it. And you're trying to keep them with you. So it's interesting where it's, with shoot 'em ups, it's all about like your hitbox, basically. Like your little guy has like a little hitbox. But in this, it's the sheep themselves also have hitbox. And so with the left trigger, you could bring all your sheep into a ball with you, and that was like kind of a key thing, because if you leave them out and like some lightning bolt comes down or something like that, that sheep gets re-corrupted. You can get it back, it seems. You can like heal it again.
I had to do that multiple times.
But if you hit that left trigger, that seems to be a key mechanic, is to gather up and then like dodge while doing that, because you can't shoot while you're gathered up. And then after you like feel like you're in a good position, let go, heal again, gather up. And so that seemed to be the key system there. Yeah, there's just like a bunch of little levels, like there was like a rainy cloud situation where you had to like dodge raindrops and stuff like that. And the ultimate boss at the end is a evil, was it eagle?
Some sort of
raven,
large
crow,
bird,
giant
phoenix. I don't know.
So I think it was like
really like big and sort of mystical looking bird.
Yeah, and there was a boss fight where you know, it would go through its moves, and you'd again dodge and weave and trying to make sure you keep your sheep safe, and then it would kind of like and reveal a big glowing spot on its chest. You know, I'm saying this, and spoiler alert, Julie, I think, is learning about this boss fight as we talk about it.
Let's just say I didn't get to that part.
You shoot it like 3 times, and then you're good to go. It was really cool because I finished it, and then one of the folks at the booth, one of the folks making the game, you know, came and was like, "Yeah, you're the first one, you beat it." And they were giving out, I think I heard them say like 50 or 60, so they're probably already gone. Which is, I bet they didn't know what to expect. Well, or also it's hard to make those, I bet.
Yeah.
Or maybe they have like a day, 50 a day or something. Who knows? Probably not. That'd be a lot. Yeah.
Like handmade little pins, hand felted.
But a special treat for those that were able to get them. including your boy.
And what's his is mine. So we both won today.
So, I went through the description. Why don't you go ahead and tell the people what you thought?
I thought it was really cool, really beautifully crafted and beautifully animated. Like, I think something you were talking about, just like how the fibers are like just so.
Yeah.
It just is really cool looking. And yeah, those sorts of animations where you're shooting something and your little beam is going out and you're healing the sheep, and the little gather like sort of
Into
ball
a
of
ball.
wool is so cute. Yeah, just a really beautiful work of art, and clearly a passion project, and it was so cool to talk to them and just be there first thing in the morning, and we were really excited. And
we got to tell like it truly on our Google sheet, this was free time, but we wrote in there Feltopia, like, if we can, let's go to Feltopia. And so yeah, it was just really exciting to be able to like tell them, hey, we're so excited, and they're like, we're so excited, and just like sharing that joy for a little bit right there in the morning. It was really nice. Another cool thing. Before I pivot to this, really quick on the demo again. One thing I really like is, and it's a core concept of theirs, it seems, is like it is a shoot 'em up, so like that may be intimidating, but it's very accessible. Like it's not too difficult.
I understand. It really wasn't, though, because
I think you just got like destroyed suddenly. Like, it just was a bad circumstance.
I just didn't really like fully grasp it till the end with like the gathering and like just all the pieces that you need to do. And so my whole flock at one point, was just turned into the evil ones. So I had the boss attacking me, I had my flock attacking me, and it just went downhill there. But I did make it to the boss, which I think is more than I could do in any other shoot 'em up.
Yeah, it's really accessible. Like, I think once you understand that core concept, like that, you're like, okay, so dodge, attack. It took me a second too. Like, I didn't know what was going on with the sheep. And it is cool that I think it's weird because it's like a little hardcore too, because like it's now not just you. Right, you have to worry about all your flock too, so that was really interesting. But the thing I was going to say was their booth, they had they had the felt figures, basically, of all the different characters and monsters and things. And I don't think, it sounded like they weren't necessarily exactly the ones that are in the game, but, it's basically the same, And so that was really cool because they had like the eagle, and then they had the evil eagle, and they had the little character, and they had a tiny version of the character, and the sheep, and it was just so cool. And like we, hopefully I can overlay, because you got some good shots of that as well. Just a great way to start the show.
Yeah. One other thing, I mean, some of our community might have followed this person as well. But the game is being made by this person that I've actually followed for a while, because I really just, I like fiber crafts, and I followed them on Instagram at one point in time. At Andrea Animates, I believe, is the Instagram handle. And
really cool. They were there too.
Yeah, like she just does like these really cool felted like animations and scenes, and like really cozy, beautiful art. And I didn't know until we got that PAX email that they were working on this game, and
and
so
it's really
just
cool.
Really cool. Like,
I
followed you for a long time.
It's like a family affair too, right? Like, I think so. Was that her brother or their brother?
Possibly.
Yeah, that was is working on it as well, and all. It's just such a cool thing. This will prove to be a continuing trend where, and it feels so nice, right? You show up and they're like, oh yeah, video games are good. Like, we made sure to reach out to you guys because we could tell like these are our people, and so like, again, I said, not to brag, but that turned out to be a little bit of a continuing trend of the day, to feel like shouted out by these people that are checking out our stuff and realizing what we're doing over here.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Like, as much as developers really want to feel like you did the work and you looked into their game and you know who they
Yeah,
are,
they're doing the same thing.
yeah, it feels really nice for us to have that experience too and be like, oh, you actually,
Went the extra
looked
step.
at our site, you know what our sort of mission is. So yeah, that happened a couple times today, and that was really cool.
So yeah, after that we did have to end up going and running back to the hotel, running back, and then we made our first appointment, which was with Centum, a really cool point and click kind of trippy, mind melting kind of experience, which we won't say too much about here because we'll have some written content up on the site. But that was a really cool. It's always interesting when you play those kinds of games at a show like this because it's so slow and so like dig in. But I think because it was still so quiet,
Yeah,
it was fine.
it was
like,
a good time to
yeah.
have that one.
Yeah, because as you'll hear later, we played something else that was a little more slow and it was a little off-putting to like have like behind you and then like
The
you're
PAX DJ.
trying to play. Yeah, a booth had a DJ.
Nobody asked for that.
Who asked for that? And it's truly there's all. It kind of felt bad. Like all the seats in front of it, there's like all these like little chairs empty.
Yeah.
And he's like. Anyways, so yeah, Centum. That was really cool. That's being published by Serenity Forge, and they're doing some good stuff over there, and
for sure.
It's exciting to see what they're working on. Then, we should have looked up the name properly.
Oh, the card is.
Oh, the card.
Yeah.
Then we went and checked out. We didn't cut anything out. Then we went and checked out we were just kind of like, we have some time before our next appointment. Let's just wander again, get a feel. I think we did that for a little bit. And then we were like, now what? And then I was like, let's wander again, but with intention. Where, if we see something that we're intrigued by, that's empty, let's just hop on it. And so the first thing we saw was like a fun little party game. Was Sushi Battle Rambunctiously. It's our first little prop of the day. And it essentially felt like, we played one round, 3 players with the dev. And it's essentially like Gang Beasts, but with like a sushi theme, which is fair enough and cool. I ended up winning.
Yeah, brag about it some more.
I think again, it was one of those things where we both were like taking in what was happening, and the developers trying to explain it. And, we were just like, I don't know what's going on. But I think by the end, I think we kind of were all on board and figured it out. It's really knock your enemies off the screen. And
there's also zombies involved.
Yeah, zombie pops down.
Sushi.
You can like take control. You can become one,
Yeah, I got bit. And then you turn into a zombie and then you can bite the other players to like mess them up.
It's not like you can still win, but you can like fuck with your
ruin someone else's day.
And that was a cool, fun little quick thing we did, that I think,
hopped on that for what, like 5 minutes?
Yeah, I just hopped in and then, because I won, I got this little, we didn't even realize what it was. I thought it was a little badge. I don't know how good you could see that, but it's looks like it's a little.
Seems to be a pop socket.
Yeah, it's a pop socket. Maybe that taiyaki. The like, red bean filled fish.
Oh, maybe.
Pastry thing.
Yeah, maybe. It's like sort of a clown.
Yeah, it's kind of like a clown hat. And and it's a pop socket. We thought it was just a pin. Won that, and then Julie, the consolation prize was this.
A little zombie like trading card.
Yeah, a little card. Zombie Shirimon. Don't know if I'm hitting any targets there. Yeah, that was fun. Quick little aside. Mm-hmm. And then once again we hit up something that like was near the top of our list of like we want to hit this at some point during our show time. We have so many appointments, so we're not going to necessarily book like a formal block, but we want to hit this. And that was we had emailed them even and said like, hey, we're going to be there probably Saturday morning. But then we were like, we're here, it's there, let's make it happen. And this was Spiral by Folklore Games. This is the game about what is the exact way they put it?
Um, I think they typically write it like it's a game about cognitive degeneration.
Cognitive degeneration. That's what. It's an older man. It's about him looking back on his life and remembering things and living through memories and
And also struggling to remember
yeah,
memories.
yeah. I didn't end up playing this one. Julie did, so I'll let you kind of handle that first. But I'll talk about what happened first, which we walk up, and again we had kind of an email exchange a little bit with the team here, and we walk up and start chatting with one of the I think one of the community people who has just the most spectacular hat, kind of steampunk.
Yeah.
Kind of a steampunk hat, very identifiable and like a very like vibrant
loud jacket.
Yeah, loud jacket. And so, started chatting and he was like, video games are good. Oh yeah, I remember you guys. And we're, like cool, and we're chatting. He's pitching us the game. The two stations were taken at this time, so we're just chatting a little bit and then it was really nice again, yeah, just to kind of chat, not feel like we had the expectation to be on and have these great questions and so it's just nice to chat with someone who knew us and we were interested in the game and then the booth opens, a seat opens up, we sit down, they have a couch. Oh my god, they have a couch.
Blessings upon blessings.
I'll spoil this. They said we can have time on that couch whenever we want. We'll probably take them up on it.
Yeah.
And station opens up. Julie hops on there, and then another person from the team, I believe, named Jess, arrives, and this is the part where like feeling touched because the person I was chatting with goes, "So this is Nate from Video Games Are Good," and then Jess goes, "Oh yeah, Nate, Video Games Are Good. Yeah, I know you. I have a gift for you." And I was like, "Huh?" And then comes out with this nice little envelope, which you can see here, which if you cannot see, it says send to Nate, Video Games Good. And then, it's like, yeah, we have a key for the game in there and all kinds of goodies. And we don't do this for everyone, but, we saw, we checked your stuff out and, we felt it was a fit. And, on the off chance, because we didn't book any actual time, right? We just said we might stop by.
Mm-hmm.
On the off chance you stop by, we wanted to have this ready for you. And I was like, excuse me, and so that was really cool. And then just ended up chatting with Jess, but then I'll hand it over to you because you did end up playing the game.
I did. It's always interesting to sit and play like a more narrative game on the show floor.
Again, right?
Luckily, it was still that situation where it was like pretty quiet, pretty early.
So me blabbing with the team.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's almost an even more like amplified version of that. First thing when I sat down with the demo, it was like, we know that an older gentleman's pace is not, for everyone sort of thing. So you can play it a little bit faster if you want, like make Bernard a little more, like a younger version of himself. But I went with the slower version because I'm a real gamer.
Yeah, I want the feel.
I want the authentic older gentleman experience.
Oh my god, my word.
So yeah, you drop in and the demo is like sort of as Bernard, this older man, you're just going through your house and there are all these different items that you can interact with, and some of them are letters you can pick up and read, and maybe he'll make a comment about the origin of it or the person who sent it, and then there are different there are some sort of key memories, so you pick up an object and there's maybe like a really vague, like transparent sort of outline of the people, you know, having this conversation in his past when he was like a young boy, or you know, just these different memories. And then there are also more like cutscene ones that are sort of like these really core memories. So there's like fishing with his dad, and there's like a mini game attached to it, where it's, I guess, sort of like Stardew-ish, where you have to like keep the bar, you know, in the right spot to catch the fish. And then there's another one where he's in a library, with like a childhood friend, and you have like this little sneak mechanic. So there's these sort of like mini games within those more core memories. But apart from that, you know, after those bigger ones, it sort of like resets you. I'm not sure if it's like a new day, or it's just, you know, he's sort of coming back from that memory, and then it's like the house is kind of reset, and some of the things that you've picked up before are going to be like in different places. Some of them say the same things, you know, he remembers the same things about them. Some of them, he, you know, maybe he remembered like this flower's his mom's favorite in a previous, you know, the previous time you picked it up. And then he's like, who are these flowers for? And so each time you walk through the house, you're like interacting with these things in different ways. Yeah, it's really heavy, but really well done. Like I just really enjoyed and appreciated it. And yeah, it just felt very like so simple but so layered at the same time. And something I told them after I finished it was, you know, like obviously it's a very heavy topic, but it's just laced with so much warmth too. Like it's voice acted, you know, there's this really nice like older man voicing Bernard, but there's also like the memories of him as a kid and this little like spry, youthful, you know, interacting with his mom.
Is that sounded?
No, not like that. But yeah, like, you know, little things like that added so much to it, and just really made it feel like warm and complex. Yeah. So that was sort of my experience with it.
Yeah, I was chatting with them, you know, while you were playing, and got to kind of hear the inside of what's going on. So one of the things that was really stood out to me was them talking about how it is a very heavy game, right? It's cognitive degeneration. You know, it affects so many people. You know, don't need to go into it, but you know, you personally have some of that as well in your family, and it's just like, you know, it is. I think a lot of people can relate to the experiences of this game. And so, but what they wanted to say was it's not about the disease. The game is not about the disease. The game is about Bernard. The game is about the person. So. And they really wanted to emphasize it's about the person. It's about the experiences. It's about their life, their memories, their family. It's not about the disease. And they talked about how, you know, even early on they were trying to make that game, right? And it was just too dark, and it was just too depressing. And so they did try to change it and just make it more about the memories, more about the people. And one of the big potential inspirations, I think the person I was talking to, Jess, was saying this is just a game I really love, but I think it was something that they brought into this experience was What Remains of Edith Finch, where one of the big things they were saying is, yeah, these key memories, these core memories, each one kind of comes with one distinct gameplay gimmick, right? So there's the fishing mini game, there's the sneaking around, but then in the little trailer that they had playing on a TV, there's like an RPG. I forget what they said it was, but it was C&C instead of D&D. So instead of Dungeons and Dragons, it's maybe Cards and Creatures, maybe.
Yeah, I can't remember what they called it.
Castles and Creatures, maybe.
Possibly.
But you know, same thing, right? Where it's you know, it's Dungeons and Dragons. It's a tabletop RPG where, you know, playing that with Bernard's friends, and yeah, it's like an RPG system. And then there was stuff with the dog. Do you remember the name?
Elfie.
Yeah.
Yes.
there seemed to be a gameplay sequence where you're like playing as a dog, jumping around like a beautiful world and stuff. And so yeah, it really they focused on the characters and the good times, you know, and made them really interesting gameplay wise. And so I'm really interested to see how that all pans out. And then yeah, like again, this envelope was really cool. It comes with these little postcards. This one has like an in-game, you know, message from one character to another. They give some stickers. That's Elfie. A nice little sticker pack full of different references and stuff. Game logo. 2 more postcards related to the game, and then the one that's I haven't read yet, but I really want to and like dig into and feel like a, you know, nice little amplifier to the whole game. The game as a whole is this is a letter from Bernard to a friend. And I was telling them this there, that like I love this stuff, right? Like I'm still gonna be, you know, still gonna have my critic hat on and all that stuff. It's not like, oh yeah, now it's amazing, right? But like the care, right? I compared it to, I told them about it too, that we do our 24-hour streams, right? And we do those care packages for all the people that join us, and it's the same little thing, right? We're making these little packages of like little things tied to the theme, and you know, making it feel like a bigger thing. And that's what this is doing too, you know, for a small team, small indie team. Jess, the person I was talking to, you know, was hard at work getting all these packages together, and it just shows how passionate they are, you know. And I love little packages like that just really pull you in even further, and it's just really cool. It's just really cool. And those people were really awesome, and like I said, we have a key, so you will be hearing about Spiral soon. I might even load it up on the Steam Deck tonight. Who knows? But yeah,
just cry yourself to sleep before day 2 of PAX.
Day 2 is going to be real light, so I can cry. I can afford to cry.
We can afford a little sob sesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wanted a quick hit, you know, what you said actually about it being, you know, having that sort of inspiration from What Remains of Edith Finch. I can really see that, and I think, you know, a lot of our community members have played that game
and sobbed to it.
Sobbed to it. I think a lot of people are gonna like this game, and I really was impressed with its demo, and I'm excited to play it. So
yeah, they talked about how hard it was too to make a demo where they didn't want to focus too much on the darkness, but that and the heaviness, but that's like a key part of the game, so you can't. And how do you introduce it with the, you know, and then it's you know, it seems like they nailed it, right?
I think so. And that's hard. Like you go into it and it is a little bit of a disorienting experience, right? Because that's what you're experiencing as Bernard. And so you're experiencing that as the player too. And, you know, I think they did a much better job than I could possibly have hoped for to go in being, you know, so confused.
Yeah. One last note before we move on to the next one. Is they also had, which I thought was really, really cool, a little notebook right by their demo station where they said, share with us. And they were basically saying, you know, oftentimes people finish that demo and they get up teary-eyed, or they get up crying even, or they get up and, you know, you don't necessarily want to talk to the person it's happening to be about it because they're going through it themselves, and they're having, you know, you don't want to like, and now I'm depressed because of what you're going through. And it's like, well, how do you think I feel? You know, like, and so, you know, you don't often feel like you have someone to talk to about it. And so they're like, if you want to get it out of your system, please sit down and write in our journal and share with us your experiences and how this game, you know, brought them up and how they feel, and let us know. And I thought that was really cool. That's
really nice. I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was right next to you, actually. There's a little table.
Gotcha.
But, you know, wrapped up in the chaos.
Yeah.
That was Spiral. Folklore Games, check it out.
September 20th.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Coming out real soon.
They were so nice. They were awesome. Yeah. What's next on our list?
We've got another one we very briefly tried. Like, right before another appointment sort of thing. I think we were just wandering around, but we stopped by this one called Cornucopia, which is it was a farming sim. Again, got maybe like 5 minutes
Yeah,
hands on with
really.
it.
We just kind of hopped in. We didn't talk to anybody.
We just sat down. But I played a little bit and just did some sort of, the usual farming, cleaning up with your scythe and your axe and,
Hoeing.
doing all that sort of usual stuff. And then as I was, I hoed the ground. I was getting ready to maybe put some seeds down that I had swiped up with my scythe. And it actually like has this sort of deeper mechanic where the like certain soil conditions need to be met for each like type of seed, which was really interesting. I wasn't there long enough to like figure
really
out
dive in.
yeah, how to meet those conditions. But that was, a surprise.
It's intriguing, right? Yeah, when Julie was showing me that, I was like, yeah, look at this. And they had a little standee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it mentioned 50 different types of fertilizer mixes and 74 seeds. And so it's like, seems like it's a really more nitty gritty into the farming, but then it still had the look of like something cutesy like Stardew Valley or whatever, right? But then it is this like hardcore kind of farming sim. So if you're into that, yeah, I know we have some gardeners in our community, so Cornucopia.
Yeah, seems like the kind of, farming game for the people who really like to stay home on the farm and not go out and do the fishing and the mining. You just really like to be that little homestead like kind of person.
When we were checking it out, one of the people at the booth came by and gave us these are tattoos, temporary tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really cool. And yeah, Cornucopia.
After that,
oh yeah, baby,
you got to dive into one that you were really wanting to check out.
Yeah, I went and checked out Mr. Sleepy Man, which if you've been on TikTok, you probably have seen it. It's made by this musician named Devin Santee, who is I think a solo developer on this project. And it's just this platformer that's kind of leaning into expressive platforming a la Super Mario 64, where it's just like really you can get some mesh movements and, based on like the momentum and stuff, you can get some flipping action going and all kinds of stuff like that. You play as this, it starts out in this first person sequence, which was really interesting, where you like pick up this N64 cartridge, basically put it in an N64. It's something else, but they call it the cartridge itself is called a memory, which I thought was interesting. And then you turn it on and then you like grab the controller, start to play, and then out of the TV this like fist comes out and grabs you and pulls you in. And then you wake up in this room with Mr. Teefy or something like that, I believe.
Just Teefy.
Was it just Teefy?
Just Teefy.
And you go, you've been sleeping a real long time. And just like real goofball of a guy. And he's like, it's very funny because he's like kind of tutorializing you. But like you're wandering around, and while you're doing something, like, oh, I wouldn't do that oh no, that's okay, like he's like, would you please come talk to me? Like, he's trying to like wrangle you basically, but you can kind of just ignore him. And so this fun little opening area where hanging out in this zone and messing around with stuff. Like there's a bowl, there's a box of cereal, there's some milk, and I could gather it all up and make a bowl of cereal, and then I offered it up to Teefy, and he's like, that's all right, I don't want to eat all that mess. And I just poured it on the ground in front of him. And then I'm trying to get out of here, and finally I realized like, oh yeah, he's like telling me to go back to bed, and I just forgot that there's a bed in here. And so I go lay down, and he's like, oh, well, it ain't right if you're sleeping without your blankie and a pillow. And he's like, you got to get that. And so you get up, and then there's a blanket hanging, and you grab that, and that's like your like little glider, and you grab that and you can glide around. And then he goes like, well, there's a pillow, but the only way you can get that is outside, and I don't think you should do that. And then a rock falls from the ceiling, and there's like a heavy duty glass door basically. And so you put two and two together, throw the rock through the window, and he gets upset. And then it was like depressing, right? He was like, "Why'd you do that? Like, what am I living for?" Or something like it was like something like kind of like sudden tonal shift a little bit, and that's kind of a continuing trend because then you go out into the world and it's kind of like a big old Super Mario 64 level where you just kind of interact with the environment and see what happens. And there's this fun like kind of like a kick out glide move you can do where you can get a lot of speed really fast and then pop out your blankie and like glide across the map. And I was just getting to like far off places trying that. And then I'm like, I think I need something else because I'm like, I can't, there's a lot of stuff like break, but I don't have anything that I can use to break right now. Like, how do I break everything? And so finally, I'm like, okay, I got to get my pillow. And so I wandered into this house and sure enough, the pillow's there. Grab that, and then that unlocks like a full-on, again, I'm gonna bring up Super Mario 64 a lot because it's kind of like that. The Mario punches, like a 3 combo. And I noticed in this house, it was really interesting, in this house that you find the pillow in, there's like pizzas and like soup cans, but then it says the option for picking it up, instead of just grab, it says steal. And so I was like, I'm stealing a pizza. And I grab one of the pizzas and I walk outside. No one really stopped me. And then there's these guys that had walked up and slapped me before I had my pillow. And so I was like chasing them down, trying to like throw the pizza at them because I was mad. And so it was actually fun because then I throw the pizza box, like the pizza itself flies out. I was like, oh. And I grab the pizza. I'm like, come here, I'm gonna get you. And then I beat the shit out of them for a little bit. Then I run across this guy, Mr. Bear. Was it just like Mr. Bear, I think?
Like Papa Bear.
Papa Bear. And he's like, oh, excuse me, like, have you seen my son, Chunky Bear? Like, he really loves cereal, and I just don't know where he's gone. And I was like, okay, well, a little quest, right? Like, gotta go find this bear. And then I see him on this bridge that's like, has like a broken piece of it. And he's just standing there. I find him later, and I go up to him, and he's like, do you think Chunky Bear is a sinker or a floater? And I'm like, huh? And he's like, his body must be out there somewhere. You're just like, what the hell? And so, like, I think that dichotomy of, like, it's like a silly, goofy world, but then it's like, my wife left me 3 years ago, like, oh my God, And so the only way you end a demo like that is there's this grocery store, I walk in there. There's like an old lady kind of putzing around. She has like question marks over her head. So I was like, what's that about? Does she have a quest or something? So I walk up to her and I just see left trigger, steal grandma's car keys. And I was like,
well, if you say so.
Because at first I was like, what do you, and then I remember right outside the store, there was a car. And so I was like, I'm stealing grandma's car key. Grab the keys, hop in the car, and you get a full-on drivable car that has jumps and stuff. And so that was really goofy to hop in that. And then driving around and you see the grandma and some like, I guess maybe the store owner or just some like security guard or something is also chasing after me. And I'm like, oh, and then I'm trying to do these like sick drifts and like jumping around because you can jump in the car. I jump off of the side of the thing and I'm like, oh no, and then it crashes in the water and I'm like, oh no. But then after it crashes, all of a sudden, like, again, Super Mario 64, like it's like a shell. It looked like a shell, like a seashell.
Yeah.
But that's like basically like the star, like a little animation. The star comes out of it and kind of hovers in the air, and you're like, oh, that was a good thing I did. And it said like, wreck the car or something. And I was like, cool. And I hop over, grab it. I try to get out of the water, and it takes me a while, but then I get out. And so this is actually when I find Papa Bear again. It's right after that. And I start in that cutscene. Both the grandma and the security guard, this is a glitch, and they were laughing about it a little bit, obviously want to fix it, but they come like converge on me while I'm in the cutscene talking to, and so I'm giggling over that because grandma's literally like, she like rears back and like kicks you a bunch, that's what she was doing. And then as soon as the cutscene ended, like they even said that, they're like, bro, you're screwed as soon as this cutscene's over. And the cutscene immediately after, grandma kicks me, and then the security guy grabs me, and then I go to jail.
Yep.
And then the game is like, normally this would, or because this is a demo, this is a dead end, but you can go lay down in the bed again and like reset the world and explore some more. But we were ready for our next appointment after that, and so we moved on. But that was exactly what I wanted it to be. You know, this was your first time seeing it.
Yeah,
Like
it looked really fun.
yeah, just the vibe, right? It was just so silly and
good vibe, good writing.
the platforming was really fun. Like I'm excited for that, like to really get in some movement. Like yeah, again, like there was like the first thing I did after I got into the world was like there's like a far off platform and there's clearly like you're supposed to like jump around like all these other things to get up there, and I just went with the like blanket and just got there, you know. So I was like, okay, there's some fun potential here. I mean, obviously, you know, Marshmallow Madness champion, Super Mario 64 champion. You know, have the little bit of a bug, right? Speedrunning bug there. And so that was really fun to see that's a big part of this experience. And that's a big, you know, if you have seen any Mr. Sleepy Man TikToks, that's a big thing they talk about there is like the expressive and how it feels and how to nail those feelings in platforming and making sure the bounce is just right, the jump is just right, you know, and how to make it feel even nicer. And so they nailed it so far. Yeah, Mr. Sleepy Man, check it out. Wishlist it on Steam. Wishlist all these games, by the way.
Wishlist everything that we're talking about, TBH.
Okay, and then after that, the reason we stopped, I would have kept playing, honestly, is we were coming up on our next appointment. And that was for a really cool indie horror game. Again, won't say too much, because we had a really great chat with these developers, and the demo was really interesting. Honestly, might want to go back because there are multiple branches. A game called More Than One Way. It is a indie horror game that's pulling from different eras of internet culture and kind of the horror icons of various eras of internet culture. So there's like kind of like an animatronic like character. There's kind of like, you know, classic like creepypasta like characters, and yeah, we met with the developers, Bugs and Spider, really awesome people. You know, one of the fun thing I'll spoil here because I don't know if it'll make it in the article, but you know, they met online. A lot of the team they met online, but these two were a couple and they met online, and we were like, hey.
I know, around the same time.
Yeah, which was
we
really
chatted
funny.
about it afterward. It was fun.
But yeah, really cool looking game with puzzles that like make you think in really interesting ways and don't hold your hand too much. And that was really fun because I was playing it, and the developer could tell, like, I think a little bit that like I knew my shit. And so they were purposely being like, no, you can figure this out, you know. And like you're on the right track, you know. And so I was like, okay, you know. And in that environment too, you're kind of feeling like, okay, I gotta get through this, right? There's people waiting, you know, we have other, you know, I don't want to take up too much time. And so, you know, I was feeling the pressure, but it was fun, and it was, like, kind of gathered an audience of the people there, and we got some fun stuff from them as well. It'll be a little hard to see, I believe, but this is the character that we had an interaction with, Fiona. So yeah, you'll hear more about that soon. And I don't have my badge on.
It's over next to you.
Oh yeah.
We also got that little bracelet from them, little rubber bracelet.
Yeah, rubber bracelet. Where's that?
It's over there also.
I can't find it.
That's okay.
Got a little pin for Fiona as well. So I'm curious, actually, if you play through another section, if you get a different set.
I'm gonna go
collect them all.
Yeah, that was a really cool team, really cool project, and yeah, for me, just, you know, standing behind you, watching you play, like the puzzles just seemed really neat. You know, just using sort of things you picked up around the room, and then almost like having to have some like cultural knowledge for some of them,
and just media literacy, like, you
yeah,
know, like,
that too. But
you just have to like you actually have to read every note you get and like
Yeah.
really take it in and then like use that. Okay, how can I manifest that in the room? And you know,
Mhm.
and then so yeah, you know, more to come, more to say, but really really cool.
Yeah.
Even aesthetically, just like a really interesting looking game, blending that like 3D 2D kind of vibe in a really interesting way. Check out I mean, it's going to be in the article, but if you want to go check out their website like now, they have an ARG, like a full-on experience that is like almost like playing the game now on their website. So go check that out.
Yeah.
After that, we had one that this was one of the ones that was later in the process of booking. And even after we were like, okay, we're booked, we're done, this one came up and we said, we're not booked, we're
That
not
happened
done.
so many
Yeah,
times.
this was All Systems Dance by MyDL. This was really fun for us because last year at PAX, last day, we're exhausted, we're tired, and you know, I was like, you know, in the email, this team MyDL said like, if you're pressed, stop by, we might have some goodies for you. And I was like, okay. And so we stopped. We were like, let's go check it out. And you know, we get there and we're meeting with the CEO of the company, Dave. I think Proctor. Dave Proctor, and we just had this like really nice chat. Like we're not on the again, we're not doing any formal stuff there. We're just stop by and we chat with Dave, and it was just this really uplifting and like comforting feeling chat. Uh, you know, if you might be familiar with the Mighty L, they made the Big Con, and they also put out A Night in the Attic, which was a VR game. And they are now working on All Systems Dance, a game that is a dance-based arena combat, is how they were saying it. Arena combat game without combat, but dance instead. And it just dances everything that you do in that game. And really don't want to spoil this one because I think both the interview was so fantastic. Dave, if you're watching, we love you.
Shout out to Dave.
Shout out Dave. Hot take, Dave's good. And that was just such a great chat. And then the demo itself was really cool. Like I'm so excited for that game now. Like it was announced, we knew about it, there was footage, but barely anything with the game. And so to get hands on it and finally see what they're going for, and kind of a little fun little thing is we got a sneaky extra part of the demo as well, press exclusive. And so we were able to kind of get a sneak peek at the vision for the full project. And yeah, lots of fun details there. Don't want to give much away. That was a really great chat, really great demo. Yeah, we both got to play, which was really cool, and not something that often gets to happen.
Yeah.
You know, he had 2 stations ready for us and loaded it up on there, and yeah, All Systems Dance wish list.
Yeah,
you're gonna wanna.
I think people are gonna really enjoy our coverage on that one, and just like I think that's one where we'll just share so much from the interview because you know they just have such a great vision for it, and
that whole team is
really
so
excited.
So talented and cool.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the Shazame. Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. I feel like this one's gonna hit. Our resident dancer in the community. Like even the moves, right? Like the way they're like named after actual like dance moves and everything was pretty fun. Really cool. Yeah, keep an eye out. The Revolution will not be choreographed. I forgot the line. I forgot the line.
That is the line. You didn't forget it. You just.
It's a great line.
You lost confidence.
I'm just tired. Okay.
After that, we hit up some coffee because we were.
If you can look, I mean,
hitting that like 2-3 p.m. Like,
we had like an hour before our next appointment, so we got some coffee, chugged that down,
sat on the ground,
ate a Danish.
And we needed that for real.
And then we were like, all right, let's get ready for this big, exciting interview with the co-founders of the Mix, who are working on the Rugrats game, Adventures in Gameland. I think it is.
That sounds right.
But they had already left because they have the mix event at 6 p.m. and this appointment was at 4, so it makes sense, honestly. We're not upset at all.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, we were like, oh, okay, we're just playing the demo. Cool with me.
Which we did. And we got to play co-op
It's a
for
co-op,
this one
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
So, Rugrats Adventures Again. Oh, I guess we don't want to talk too much about it because we are going to be writing about this.
Yes.
And it wasn't cool. It was, actually, I really liked it.
It was a good demo.
So this is just base level. Rugrats Adventures in Gameland is a 2D platformer, very retro, old school, to the point that you can turn on an 8-bit mode that looks just like the NES. Like, it has the flickering and everything of assets when they're in front of each other. You notice that when we were like standing near each other. It's same with the soundtrack. You can go from an HD to an 8-bit. And so it was really cool to hear like dun 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 dun, but then crunched into bits, you know. Really, really fun game. Very reminiscent, you know. I know you don't have the frame of reference for this, but very reminiscent of Super Mario Bros. 2.
Oh yes, yes.
Down to the digging, like that whole mechanic is like it was a big deal in Super Mario Bros. Like all the babies are there. 4 of the babies.
All
right
the
now.
babies.
Maybe
there.
in the full game there'll be more. But you got Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil. Each have their own stats. It's a really interesting game. And we had a lot of fun with that.
Yep.
And then since we didn't have the interview and, you know, we
did reschedule.
Yeah, we rescheduled. So hopefully
we will hopefully get that later this week.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, because we were like, well, we have still like a full hour before our next appointment. This was at the limited run games booth. We then were like, let's just check out some of what else they have. And one that really like we didn't even really know about, and it's a fully original thing. Limited run usually does kind of like remasters and stuff like that. Like they had Tomba there as well, which we didn't get to play. I want to hit that before the end of the show though. Was this game called Ghosts? You ended up playing this one, but I'll just talk briefly about the first part. It's a FMV game, so it's all full motion video, like not all, but a big part of it's full motion video, and you're like in this like truck, it seems like. You're the truck guy for like a ghost hunting show, it seems like, and there's people in this haunted house, and you're flipping between the cameras and you're running the show for like a live audience. And so like where the cameras are, you know, you have like the audience number was going up and down, and you're like keeping track of what's going on, probably having to like, oh, I switch this camera to get a ghost and appearance, you know, and like, oh, so this guy walked out of the room, is going over here by himself, let's switch to that camera, you know, and see what's going on. And then I'll let you take over here. I think like whispering starts happening. Is that what was going on?
Yeah, so like this was so wild because things were just happening. It was that kind of demo where so I don't feel like I even had my full bearings there yet of like there were like audience numbers and things like that. I was just sort of like, you know, starting to click through to the different camera feeds. And then at a certain point I clicked on one and then started hearing like a chorus of whispers like in my ears. And
I think at first you were like, is this happening in the house?
I thought it was in the haunted house.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like flipping through. I was like, do I need to like click on something to like find a ghost? Like, how does this work? What am I doing? And then you suggested I like look around. And so
there's like a voice. There's like a guy talking to you and he's like, oh, is there something in the room with you? And so I was like, look around.
Yeah, so I looked around and then like things started happening inside the van that I was in.
Like a big symbol appeared on the screen, blocked all the screen.
Yeah, at one point, like there was like blood splattered across the screen when I turned back around. There was a
plague doctor.
Yeah, a plague doctor mask, like just sitting on like a table. And like requested that I put some like herbs together to make this mixture.
It's like we demand, it said.
Yeah. And so then I had to go outside the van, and then it was like into this
like weird
like
crypt.
Yeah, I don't know, like a weird room that just had you know, some spices and honey and stuff that I had to take to a mortar and pestle and mix it together.
Up and then bring it back.
Brought it back.
And you're like,
gave
cool,
it to the thing.
I must have made them happy.
Surely. But then, yeah, so I put it like puts the plague doctor mask onto me, and then chaos just ensued. I don't even know what happened. Yeah, blood and like mannequin bodies.
I think those
were they
bodies.
real? I don't know. I
couldn't
couldn't tell. Yeah, so that started filling the truck, and then I like snapped out of it or something, like it was a vision. They're like, what is happening? I turned back around. I try to keep doing the show, clicking through the camera feeds. I'm like, well, I'll just go back to that. Now through like the tiny eye holes of the plague doctor mask, so it's much harder. And then I don't even know what happened after that. Something happened, and then I was in hellfire. Like literally, the truck was set aflame. I was on fire. The character was like screaming, like in pain, like getting burned. And then
and then you woke up.
And then I woke up in my bed.
And we're like, oh, that was a weird dream.
Oh, but my body is so warm. Ow, like still feeling it, like still like feeling that pain.
But then, you know, just like that capitalist grind, right? I think that one of the last lines like,
but the company is counting on me to produce the
run the show. And then he said ghosts.
Yeah, so that like it all happened so fast. It was really intriguing though.
Yeah, I'm really interested, but like they didn't do the demo like just immediately throws the events at you.
Yeah.
I feel like it should have had a little more of the like actual running the show, and like maybe some things happen in the house, and so I think it needs to lull you into that false sense of security and then hit you with like now stuff's happening to you. You know,
I agree. Yeah.
Hard to, you know, especially a show floor demo. Maybe maybe like a at home demo gets to dive into that. I feel like that'd also be better on that was on controller. I think it'll be perfect on mouse and keyboard, right? Where you can like really get your vision over to what screen you want to click on and all that stuff. But really interesting. I think there was a Kickstarter, or there is a Kickstarter or something like that. But that was interesting.
That was Ghosts. Chat, we're locked in right now.
We're so locked in.
We're so locked in.
My phone died again. We're yapping a bit. So, you know, we just want to tell you all about what we did, you know. We got cut off right before we were about to talk about Clock Tower, which was right next to Ghosts. We hopped in on that. That is a remaster, but not like a full remake. It's genuinely just like taking the original work, making it HD, getting it out there for people. It is an iconic horror franchise. I kind of hopped in like before. I didn't see the beginning of the demo. It was just kind of active next to me. So I hopped in and you know, I don't really know what was going on, but like I got to experience the, you know, using an analog stick to move a mouse cursor about the screen and navigate the character that way, where, you know, you're walking to and fro. You know, there's like these people like check on Miss Mary, and then I walk out of the room, and then I hear a scream, and I come back, and everyone's gone. And then, you know, you run out of the room and you're trying to see what's going on. You go upstairs and the floor falls away, and then you're like, what's happening? And you know, navigate. I try to go through the house, and I find a parrot in a cage. I open it and it says, I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Right? I think we couldn't figure.
We were trying to decipher I'll kill you or I hate you. Yeah. But sentiment is pretty similar.
Yeah. And so we were like, oh, fuck. And then eventually I find my way to this bathroom, and the music started getting weird, and my character portrait got like yellow, and so I was like, what's happening? And then, you know, of course you see a shower curtain, a bath curtain, and so I was like, guess I gotta pull this aside, huh? And you pull it aside, and there's a woman kind of strung up, and you're like, Laura? And then the scissors come out of the bathroom, and here comes the little guy chasing after you. And you know what I think that's really cool, because I never got to play this series growing up, and what I think is really cool is how it achieves genuine horror while, you know, the experience is you clicking to make her move around, and I think that's where it accomplishes that horror, right? Is you have such limitations in getting her around, which I think then communicates like her helplessness in the situation. And yeah, sure enough, I'm trying to desperately get away from this guy who chases you through. You like click on a door, you go through, and you start walking in the next room. You see the door open, he's coming after you, you know, and then you're desperately trying to get. I finally click on a door that's like in the background, right? So like she walks up to a certain point, then turns and walks into the background to the door, locked door, of course. By the time she comes back into the foreground, the guy's just waiting there, and then I think I didn't realize I was supposed to like click on the situation. I was supposed to like move the cursor and click on to like fight him off, and then sure enough, we get murked, and he's like dancing with the scissors and and dead end, and we were like, you know, that's perfect. That's perfect to wrap up this random hop in we did where, you know, we didn't even see it from the start or anything, but that was really interesting to get a taste of that, and I'm super excited for what they're doing with that one. It was a fun little 1-2 horror punch from Limited Run. And then to end the day, to end the video, we went over to our last appointment of the day, which was a two-banger. We played the demo for Heartworm and interviewed the developers. And then we interviewed the developer behind Delusion. So once again, not going to say too much here, but Heartworm is a really cool game. Very PS1 horror inspired. They reference Silent Hill and Resident Evil, like the classics, of course. But this one stars a character named Sam, who's got a camera as her main weapon, and deals with grief, I believe, is the big blanket topic here. And the demo, this was one of those ones, we only have so much time. We got to make sure we get in for the interview, but then we want to be mindful of their time, and so they had like an exploratory segment and then a boss fight, and then so we did like a little bit of the exploration, then we just hopped in the boss fight. And how do we feel about it? Stay tuned. Anything you want to toss in for Heartworm?
I mean, I would just say that for me, like, that's one that was not on my radar. It's not the kind of game that I would normally play, but it's one that has definitely caught my eye since we've like started looking at it, for PAX. And like it's one of those ones that like sometimes surprises me, right? That I have that interest in it. I think, some of you saw us playing or saw Fish on our stream playing Sorry We're Closed, which is another, sort of inspired by that era, and like the fixed camera angles and like all that sort of thing. And that's one that I actually played myself, played the demo for that and really enjoyed. And so I'm like dipping my toes in the water a little bit.
Gamer college.
But under very specific circumstances, it just takes something really a je ne sais quoi. And I feel like that's one that I want to try. I didn't get to try it on the show floor, but they're gonna bring that same demo to Steam in not too long. Upgraded version even of that demo to Steam in not too long. So I'm gonna check it out at home myself. I would recommend others do.
Yeah, and it was a fun chat as well with the lead developer and the cinematics and boss fights, all kinds of stuff, but cinematics seemed primarily. So that was really cool. And then then we just had, so this was, as I told the developer, next thing was Delusion, which is a game that is out. So when I found that out, I was like, okay, I know I've heard good things about this, so let me request a key, from the people that are booking this, and let me check it out, and then, be informed when we go into this interview. And then I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Let me play a little bit. And I said, oh, this is I want to play a little more. And then, even though we had lots of PAX prep to do, next thing you know, I beat the game. And so it's a really cool game, open world RPG, but very like it's as if there was open world RPGs in the PS1 era, both in the look and in the feel. Like it feels like a what a open world game would be like in that era. So it's not overcomplicated. There's not a million icons on the map. There's not, um, but it was truly just like a really interesting game for me. It was really cool, and so it's become one of my favorites of the year. Honestly, is what I'll say, and it's kind of cool that like I remember one night after beating it, and we're getting ready for PAX, I like we're in bed and I'm just like I turned to Julie and I was like, it's kind of cool that like I just beat a game that I really really like, and in like a week we're gonna go talk to one of the people that's like behind it, and we did that.
We did that.
And that was really it was a really fun chat. I think we both got to like be like, man, you put out a game, huh? That's pretty cool. And he's like, yeah, we did, and just really get into the nitty gritty about what went into making it, what was that like, and then, I let him know I liked it, and chatted a little bit about different parts of it, and you'll get some of that interview sometime soon too. But that was day one.
That was day one. We came home and we ate snacks in bed and gearing up for day two.
Day two is gonna be a lot a lot lighter.
Mm-hmm.
We have like 3 appointments.
Something like that, yeah.
And
some more wandering time.
Yeah, a lot more wandering time, and probably gonna do like a little walk and talk. Mm-hmm. So
might see some more of us from the show floor this time.
So probably not as long, because you'll see us on the show floor. And then the stuff we do have is, appointment stuff. So we'll see. But yeah. We're tired. My feet do feel like a lot better now. Like, yeah. I feel like by the end of that last day again, we're not at the last day, but by the end of that last day last year, like I did not feel better in my feet for days.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's PAX day one, and 3 more days to go.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Just last words on day one.
I like games. I don't know. It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun to talk to people like really passionate about what they're making, and just rubs off on you,
Mm-hmm.
Like just makes you feel like you're enjoying the creative spirit of humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. And everyone's just so sweet, so excited, like they're so eager to talk to you about their stuff, and already feeling that like warm and fuzzy, right, about that we normally get out of doing this show. And so I'm excited to see how that expands in the days to come. Tomorrow's going to be really interesting because it's some of our bigger deal appointments, where a lot of what we want to do here anyway is indie stuff, and these are still indie. I think each one really is still indie adjacent at least, but it's like some bigger names, and so more to come. But we're excited for day 2. Yeah, I guess that's it, gang.
That's all. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.